Hey.
Hi, good morning, and welcome to What to Know Wednesday. My name is Melanie Garland, and I am with Indiana Ship, and we have two new faces with us today. And of course, we have one of my favorite faces, Susan Spilly, with us today. And our topic is to meet Indiana's Department of Insurance, and we're going to be talking about the consumer protection unit that they have. So I am going to let these two ladies take over our What to Know Wednesday. And Jennifer, I'm going to let you introduce yourself to our viewers and to the world of Facebook, and just kind of let you guys take over. We're so glad that you joined us. So thank you for coming on.
Well, thanks for having us. My name is Jennifer Groth, and I'm a Deputy Commissioner at the Department of Communication and Personnel. So I'm just really excited that you guys gave us the opportunity to come on. We haven't reached Susan's status yet, so we're gonna work up to that, and maybe you'll see more of our faces of being a favorite face.
Oh.
But the reason that we're here is, at the department, part of our mission is to protect consumers as they purchase and use insurance products. And we have a fantastic team at the department. And those people live out, our mission every year of helping consumers. For example, in the past, the Consumer Protection Unit has been able to recover over $7 million for consumers via the consumer complaint process. And so the reason that I asked Rhonda to join today, because Rhonda is the Chief Deputy Commissioner of the Consumer Protection Unit. And, she's been with the department for many years. She started when she was 5. So to say she's a subject matter expert on consumer services is pretty much an understatement. So I'm going to let Rhonda talk a little bit. I want her to tell you all a little bit about her background and her years of experience at the department. And you're on mute. That's okay. We're learning.
Yes, we are. It's my rookie Facebook talk. So let's do it right. I wouldn't consider myself an expert because I seem to learn something new every day. It's amazing how that happens. And the insurance industry is ever evolving. So, you can't say that you know everything. If you do, you're in trouble. But I have learned quite a bit during my time at the department. I've been at the department since, I hesitate, 1988. So I'm in my 34th year with the department. When I hired in, we didn't have computers, and we were still using carbon paper in the typewriters, and heaven forbid there was no spell check. So we've come a long way since then. And I have been with the Consumer Protection Unit, which is our topic of discussion today, since 1995 in one capacity or another. So I've got probably about 27 years in that area. So hopefully I've learned enough that I can at least share some good information with you today.
Well, part of my position in communications is doing some outreach, and again, like I said, this is part of that. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to do a Facebook Live. One of the things that I've noticed or been told when we do any outreach is, first of all, people don't really know about the Indiana Department of Insurance. They don't really know that we exist, and those that do know don't really understand what it is that we do typically. And, I've had people ask if we sell insurance. No, we don't. We don't sell insurance. We actually regulate any insurance that is sold in the state of Indiana. That's our, that's part of our mission as well. So we have a whole consumer protection unit, like Rhonda said, that, you know, is there to help consumers if they're having any issues with, you know, or if they have questions about insurance. But if they're having any issues with their insurance company or an insurance agent, they can contact us, and, you know, we're more than happy to help. So I was going to let Rhonda again explain a little bit about the consumer protection unit and kind of how it's set up within our whole department.
Thank you, Jennifer. The Consumer Protection Services Division is really made up of three different areas. We are the Title Division, the Enforcement Division, and then the Consumer Services Division. And probably most folks who are familiar with the department will be most aware of the Consumer Services Division. Our Title Division is essentially the part of the Consumer Protection Unit who handles complaints about title insurance companies and the agents. So if you've ever purchased a home, at the closing process, the person who sits down with you to sign all those lovely papers is a closing agent and what should be licensed as a title insurance agent. So our title division handles complaints specifically to that area. The enforcement division is set up so that if we do discover a company or an agent or an agency, someone that the department regulates, if we find that there's a potential violation of our statute, then the enforcement division will review that and take any action that might be necessary. So on our website, there's a page for enforcement actions. And if you want to look into that, you can see the types of things the department takes action for. And then there's the Consumer Services Division. And that's going to be the main topic for us today is our Consumer Service Division. They handle complaints against companies. So if you have an insurance claim and you don't feel like it's being handled appropriately, or the adjuster isn't being responsive, whatever the case may be, those types of complaints come into our Consumer Services Division.
So like we talked about, the department basically works to determine if actions of an insurance company or an agent are in violation of a statute, a regulation, or a policy. And if so, then they'll take corrective action against a company or an agent. And Rhonda, can you give some more details? Because we get a lot of questions. I think we get a lot of questions also about things that we can't handle, but it'd be nice for consumers to know what types of things that we can do for them. And then you can also talk about some things that we can't do.
Sure. I think you can see the slide that shows the list of things that we can do for the for you at the department. And once we receive a complaint, and a complaint can be anything from a call in or a email to us or whatever, but once we have a written complaint, is what's going to initiate our involvement. We receive your complaint and we forwarded a copy of that to the insurance company, and that's to give them the opportunity to respond to whatever it may be and to provide their side of the story. We obtain the information on your behalf with the company. We look for certain requirements, whether we can see that they have made a timely response to you in terms of your complaint or your claim, if they've thoroughly investigated it. We review the details of those things. We share the information with you that the company's provided. We'll look at your policy if needed to see if the company has paid in accordance to that policy. And then once we kind of have the facts of the case, we can make suggestions on what you might do next. And then if we believe, again, if there's been a violation on the part of that company, then that complaint would be escalated to our enforcement division for additional action. So here's the type of things that we might also be able to assist you with. So if there's an improper denial on your claim, if you think that the the hail damage to your roof should have been covered and the company has denied that claim, then you're welcome to contact our division and we can help you with that. If an agent, a producer, otherwise known as, has made a misrepresentation to you, told you that, oh, this policy will cover, whatever it could be, if it'll cover flood, and then you have water damage and you find that, no, it's not covered, then that's something our office would also handle. Unfortunately, we find agents or producers who are not completely honest. And sometimes we do find that they keep the premium that you've given them rather than sending it to the companies. So we investigate those through our enforcement division again, but again, those can come into our office. We do handle some Medicare gap insurance complaints, not Medicare coverage itself, but the gap in between. We can help with that. And then again, if you just believe that your policy has been canceled unjustly or inappropriately, or if they've inappropriately terminated your coverage, then those are things we can help you with too. We also have things, unfortunately, Jennifer, that we cannot do. And this third slide will show you a list of those things that we can't do just because it's not part of our statute, it's outside of our jurisdiction, and it's just not what we're set up to do. If you have if you are looking for legal representation, then that's something you should do with a private attorney, legal counsel. That's outside our purview. If you have a pending lawsuit, we try not to become involved in those because at that point, it's up to the court to make those determinations. In your disability insurance, you can't make a medical decision and say, sorry, company, this person is disabled. That's nothing that we can become involved in. We can investigate the complaint of how they're handling your claim, but we can't make a determination that there is a disability there. We can't address things that aren't subject to our jurisdiction. We just don't have the authority. I would love to be able to tell companies that you have to put a red bow on everything that you've just finished, but it's not within our statute, so we can't do those. We also can't help in your self-funded or your self-insured plans. There's always a lot of confusion in this area. If you're not sure if your employer is a fully funded or a self-funded plan, ask them. That's how you find out. A self-funded plan is governed by the Department of Labor rather than us. It's a federal regulated program, and it's nothing that we can help you with. If we get one, we'll send you that letter saying, I'm sorry, but we need to find you help somewhere else. We also can't do medical assistance, which would be your Medicaid, your HIP programs. Those are handled through the FSSA. Medicare, Medicaid, HMOs, again, FSSA. Or you can contact one of our dear SHIP counselors for assistance in that area. Very capable hands there. If it's a federal employee health benefit program, again, federal is the clue there. There's nothing the state can do for you in those. Workers' compensation, much like the disability, we can't determine whether or not workers' compensation is due to you. That's through our workers' comp board. And then contracts or policies that are sold in another state. So if you lived in Kentucky at the time that you bought your auto insurance and you moved here a month ago and haven't had time to switch it over, you're going to have to go back to Kentucky if you have a problem with that particular policy, because that's where our jurisdiction lies.
Rhonda, what should consumers do before they file a complaint?
Thank you. That's a good question, Susan. There's quite a bit they can do before they come to us. The main thing is contact the company, see if you can work something out. A lot of times, we find that things fall through the crack. You're dealing with humans here. So, the first thing is to contact your company, see if they can resolve it with you before you have to involve anyone else. Many times that is the best and the quickest way to do it. If you do find that you need to file a complaint with our office, provide as much information as possible. throw everything in that envelope that you think would be helpful in filing that complaint, because this is your opportunity when you file that complaint to tell us what the problem is and to essentially substantiate what you're alleging. If you say they've made a bad offer on the claim and you feel like it's an unfair amount, show us the documentation from the company where they've made that offer to you so that we don't have to later ask for it or ask it from the company. We want to hear your side of it so that when we do go to the company with your complaint, the company knows exactly what your complaint is and how they can help respond to that as well. If you fail to provide that documentation, it's going to delay things because we're going to have to ask somebody for it. So we'll either have to come back to you or to the company. And either way, that's going to provide a delay. So if you can do that day one from the time that you submit your complaint, that's really going to help expedite things. Supporting documentation is probably things like, again, like I said, any letters or photographs or any other documents that you have to support your complaint. And then please don't send us your originals. We can't be responsible to return those or to keep those. So if something else happens along the way and you need those documents, send us a copy of what you have so that you still have everything you need. And then again, if you're filing a complaint on behalf of another individual, say maybe your mother or someone who needs some assistance with a certain type of policy, there's a lot of laws in place to protect everyone's privacy and personal information. So provide us an authorization of release for that information. There's documents on our website that'll provide that, just something that they have signed saying it's okay to talk to this person on my behalf. And that will also expedite things for us. Those are just a few of the things that you should do before you want to file a complaint with us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So I think we have a slide that we can show you that has the information on it for how to file a complaint. You can find the complaint form. There are two ways that you can submit a complaint to the department. You can print the form in PDF format and mail or fax it to the Consumer Services Division. If you choose to print the form, you can mail it to IDOI, Attention Consumer Services Division, and the address is right there at 311 West Washington Street, Suite 300, Indianapolis 46204-2787. Or you can fax the form to us at 317-234-2103. The online complaint form is on our website. There are printable versions, and there's also an online form. The URL is right there. It's at in.gov/IDOI Consumer Services Complaints. And I think you'll probably put that up again or put it in the comments, I guess. And or consumers can also call the Consumer Services Division. And that number is 800-622-4461 or 317-232-2395. And you will be able to actually speak with a consumer services consultant.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this great information. And we will absolutely, Jennifer, we will put this in the comments for our viewers to access. And I think it's great when you said you'll actually get to speak to a consultant. We all want to speak to a real person that's going to understand our needs and what we're going through. And I'm sure when someone is contacting you about a complaint, they just really want to know that they're going to be able to get that help and get that resource. So thank you for sharing this information today. And I have a question that came in, and this is for Rhonda. So again, thank you for the wonderful information that you've shared with us. So Rhonda, this is what we all probably want to know. How long does it take for a complaint to be resolved? And I've got a second part.
Okay.
What are some of the most common complaints that that the Consumer Services Division has handled?
Okay, well, let me flip-flop those questions. The first question of what are some of the most common complaints we receive? I would say probably the majority of our complaints are auto complaints. So those might be, the company has said my car is totaled and I disagree on the value that they're offering me. Or my insurance rates just went up 25%. What can you do about that? And then some folks find out, too late after an accident that they only had liability coverage on their auto when they thought they had full coverage, as the term that most people know. So those are things that we get quite a few complaints on. The second one's probably homeowners for much the same reasons. I disagree in the value of the claim they've given me. I didn't realize I didn't have sewer drain backup coverage on my homeowners. Now my basement is flooded, those types of things. And then third, probably is health. I thought I was pre-authorized, or they told me this would be covered and now it's not. So those are the types of complaints that we get, and probably the three most common of those. And then any complaint we receive are handled essentially the same in the beginning. We receive your complaint, we send a copy of it to the company, and the company by statute has 20 business days to respond. So that is allowing them time to gather the information that they need in response to the complaint and to support their side, essentially. So we allow them those 20 business days. A lot of companies are very good about responding even before the 20 days mark. So I think a good turnaround from the day we received the complaint to the day we said, here's what we've done, or here we feel like it's been resolved. It's probably 30 days is a full turnaround if we can get everybody on board and get everyone to respond as quickly as possible. I will throw in a little bit of a pitch for our website and for those types of things. We all know, at this point in our society that a paperless world is a faster world. So if you don't have to rely on mail delivery or those types of things, it's certainly going to speed up that process and make that turnaround period even better for us.
Yeah, I'll continue the pitch for our website. We have a lot of information on our website. So I'm hoping that consumers will, when they get an opportunity or if they have questions, we have a lot of consumer resources out there available. So check those out also. And again, just want to reiterate that if you do want to file a complaint, they do need it to be in writing. And the complaint form again is found on our department website. So, but we want to thank you guys for the opportunity it's a lot of information. It's a lot to cover. But hopefully, now some consumers will be a little more informed and know that they can reach out and get some assistance if they need it.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's just knowing where to go is kind of the first step, and knowing what you can file and what you can look into further. So every time we have a guest speaker on, I always learn something new. So I definitely learned something new today. So thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you for coming on today. And like Jennifer said, we will definitely have this posted in the comments on how you can get a hold of them, their website and their phone number. And this video, like all of our other lives, is saved to our Facebook page as well. So if you're tuning in and you're thinking, oh, I know someone that could benefit from this information, you can definitely come right back to our Facebook page and you can see these videos saved under our live tab. So Susan, I think we're going to be back Monday, right? You're muted. I need a mug that says you're on mute.
Well, actually it does. A big blurb comes up that says you are muted. Yes, we'll be having our Medicare Monday, just like we do every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time.
All right. Yes, we will. So I hope you guys come back and see us. And We will see all of you then. And again, thanks again, Rhonda and Jennifer. So happy to meet you guys and to have you on. And with that, we will wave goodbye to our viewers. So have a great week, guys.
Have a
Happy
good
Wednesday.
day.
Bye-bye.